About 100 miles east of Lexington and 50 miles south of Ashland is a small city nestled in the mountains of eastern Kentucky. The city of Paintsville was incorporated in 1843 and was transformed into a modern American city in the early 20th century. The time between the city's birth and its development is a period that's been captured and preserved thanks to a living history museum. This real 1850s homestead, Mountain HomePlace, gives visitors an up-close look at Appalachian farm life in the mid to late 1800s.
Today, we really get into character and discover the proud heritage of early Appalachian settlers. Mountain HomePlace uses costume interpreters to demonstrate daily chores and educate visitors, and I'm dressed to join them. There'll be plenty of hard work and lots of fun. Let's go explore life as a mid-19th century Appalachian farmer.
Mountain HomePlace not only entertains visitors, but also educates the public to dispel stereotypes placed on Appalachian people. Life in an 1850s eastern Kentucky was rural, isolated, and self-sufficient. In the complete wilderness, survival was a challenge, and the ability to overcome a myriad of obstacles was mandatory. The settlers' knowledge and work ethic were both vital to their success. The Museum of Appalachian History at Mountain HomePlace showcases artifacts from 1850 to 1875 and gives visitors a deeper appreciation for how people lived back in those days. Today, we get to talk with a local historian to learn more about the proud heritage of this area and those who called it home.
I'm here with Ronnie D. Blair, and you are a local historian and an actor, videographer. The list kind of just keeps going.
It stops there, actually.
Okay. Well, tell me a little bit about this area. I mean, I had no idea that this was out here. I mean, I know about Shaker Village, Fort Boonesboro, but this really is absolutely comparable to those.
Well, one of the good things about this place is that it's the authentic structures. It's not been built to look like something from that era. We're inside right now the McKenzie family cabin. This cabin was built sometime around 1850, and it's been disassembled and brought here from another location. But you're in the real thing here. So yeah, it's what's called a double pen built structure. In other words, there's two big rooms, and then the loft area that you get to it is in the center of the building, and the barn is the same way. It's a double pen barn, and that's the original barn, the log part that's inside that's been built around it for right now.
They kind of carve things and I guess make chairs over there?
Well, that's what they're doing here today. His name is Terry Rattle, and all of his tools are authentic. His chairs and tables, there's no nails, no glue.
Wow.
He makes everything fit and then swells it with water, and you couldn't break it apart in a barroom brawl, you know. And then you move on down the road, you'll go to the United Baptist Church. Now that's the Fish Trap United Baptist Church. It was established in the 1840s, and it was built in the 1850s and renovated in the 1990s, and then moved here. And this place has been here, by the way, since 1995. So, and it's authentic, and it still functions as a church. I went to a Civil War wedding there about 2 years ago, and they have church services every Sunday morning.
Well, and I guess that was pretty special to have a church kind of in your community, because people really relied on that. I mean, that kind of helped give them the strength and the connection in the community to keep kind of blazing their way here in the wilderness area.
And the churches there was a church in every community, sometimes several, because the roads in those days, you know, just transportation, it was a big deal to have to get out a horse and wagon, or you walked everywhere.
Well, and I guess there's a blacksmith shop kind of across the way from the church.
It's authentic as well, but it originally was not a blacksmith shop. It was the LeMaster. It's called the LeMaster home. But it's probably the oldest structure here on the premises, and it looks like it could be from Civil War times. It's really rustic, so when you get over there and take a look at it, you'll know what I'm talking about, because it's in operation today as well. The building I think is my favorite is the McKenzie School. Everything's named McKenzie, as you know. You notice it was built in the 1800s. I think it was built more like about 1880, but it's as rustic as anything else. And it's actually, that served as a school until 1950.
Well, there's certainly a lot of history here and a lot of fun. I'm ready to go on a tour with you.
Okay.
Interpreters in authentic period costumes perform daily chores on the farm April through October. There are a variety of jobs that are performed that will give visitors a taste for what life was like for early ancestors in eastern Kentucky. Demonstrations like woodworking, quilting, and cooking over a wood-burning stove. You can also get the full farm experience by feeding the animals. Blacksmith jobs were also essential in early farm life. Although men typically did these jobs, I thought I could break the gender rules and learn how to be a blacksmith.
I'm here with Willis Strong today in the blacksmith shop, and you're going to teach me how to be a blacksmith, I understand.
I sure am.
Good, I'm ready. Tell me a little bit before we get started. I mean, metal is an important commodity, but back in those days, it was really essential.
Yes, it was probably really hard to come by, and they saved every piece that they had. If something wore out, they could take what was left of the metal and probably make something else. Like on the Hager's farm, they could probably take a strip of metal and make horseshoes that they could use, and probably something they could make their nails out of.
Sure. Well, and we were talking earlier, you said that sometimes when people were going to move to another place, like maybe to California, they would actually burn their homes.
Yes, I've read that, and I've been told that during the gold rush and maybe some other times when people were moving to California and to Missouri and Arkansas, they would burn the house that they lived in and pick all the nails out to take their nails with them because they knew they wouldn't be able to get nails where they were going.
That's amazing. Well, tell me a little bit about some of the things that you make here in the blacksmith shop.
Well, we make a lot of meat turners, and women love them.
I can see why.
Women that use them love them. We make crosses, and you can also take the cross, a big cross, and turn it into a fish gig. So you can either be a saint or the devil.
I was going to say you have one on your shoulder, so you're just trying to decide which one to listen to.
Yeah.
Well, do you find, am I your typical student, blacksmith student? Do women make good blacksmiths?
Women make good blacksmiths. Some of the prettiest work I've saw at blacksmith hammer ends and shows and stuff is done by women.
That's good to hear.
I'll probably get whipped for saying it, but women will take more time to make it look pretty, where a man it's done, you know.
Sure.
I'm bad for that, that's the reason I know.
Well, you've certainly done quite a lot. You look pretty accomplished. I'm ready to get a lesson.
Today we're visiting Mountain HomePlace near beautiful Paintsville Lake to experience firsthand how early Appalachian settlers from the 19th century lived. We talked with local historian Ronnie D. Blair about the history of this real-life 1850s homestead. Part of the fun at this living history museum is feeling like a pioneer for the day. So we've taken the part seriously and joined in on the costumed fun. Although I bent some societal rules by taking part in a blacksmith lesson, I find my way back to the kitchen to learn how the womenfolk lived and worked. A variety of food is still grown right here on this farm, including sorghum cane, vegetables, and various herbs. Preparing meals took up an enormous amount of time back in those days, and of course, cooking on a wood-burning stove also had its challenges.
I'm here with Kay Sloan, and you're a costumed interpreter here at Mountain HomePlace, and you're even the one-room school teacher.
Yes, I am.
You're a woman of many talents.
There, that's it. And that's today you will see us cooking on the old stove.
This is wonderful.
So we're going to give you a cooking lesson.
Great.
All right.
What are we going to be making today?
Gravy, pork chop gravy.
Everything's better with gravy.
Right. So you want to just kind of put it in your pan.
Okay. So this is, we've got some drippings here from maybe some pork. Is that okay?
Pork loin,
All right. Should I just kind of mix this up?
Yeah, you don't want it to get, you know. Okay.
Ooh, this is
add
not
your
for the
little
faint of
salt
heart.
in
That's
it.
hot.
In 1850, they used a lot of salt, so you want to do it?
Oh, sure, you can do it. Here, I'll stir it in for you. I'll be your little apprentice here.
Now that when you want that your gravy is good and brown, and you got all that mixed good very well, then we're going to start pouring milk in.
Lord, I can't even get over there without, it's so hot.
Could you imagine back in the 1800s
Oh my gosh.
how women done this?
I would have had burns up and down my arm, I think.
Are you ready? I would keep stirring.
Okay.
It may get a little thick, and we'll bring it down.
Tell me about kind of all the things that you've been cooking here today, and a lot of this came right off the property.
Yes, the kraut, which is cabbage that was done here.
Okay.
And the kraut, pork loins. We're having pork loins with gravy, you know, the fried potatoes. All this, what you see here is the 1850s. This is what we do. And a lot, like you say, the kraut was from the farm. Gravy was not a flour for that, but anyway. Yeah.
Well, and you've got soup beans.
We've got soup beans.
And cornbread.
1850, you couldn't live without your soup beans and cornbread.
That's great.
There's so much waiting to be discovered here at Mountain HomePlace. The museum grounds house 5 original 19th century and early 20th century structures. Taking a tour of the premise, you'll find a family cabin called Mackenzie Cabin. There's also a double crib barn, which was used to store the bounty of the land. There's even a one-room schoolhouse. Students in those days used goose quill pens and ink made from elderberry juice. Down yonder is the old Fish Trap United Baptist Church. In those days, church offered faith and security in the face of poverty, disease, and the unpredictable elements of Appalachian life. The original Lemaster House is being used as a working blacksmith shop. We've seen a lot of hard work for these early settlers. However, they also had a strong sense of community. Often, they would share meals together after a hard day on the farm. You might think the museum and costumed interpreters are enough here at Mountain HomePlace, but they also have an amphitheater and gift shop. A gift shop located in the administration building offers visitors handcrafted Appalachian items. Typical visitors' favorites are the handmade quilts that depict various styles of quilting and the ironworks created by the farm's blacksmith. You can also find plenty of Kentucky Proud products and hand-sewn dolls and toys replicated from the 1850s.
When you come to this Living History Museum in Paintsville, Kentucky, you're sure to leave with a deeper appreciation for early Appalachian settlers, learn a lot about this area's history, and have a whole lot of fun in the process. Make sure and add Mountain HomePlace to your local travelers list.